What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 336 of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango, and this is the Hot Tags edition of the week, where myself and the two other people on the panel are going to be talking about the current events, the rumors, the gossip, the news, the bullshit, the scuttlebutt, and everything else that went down in the world of professional wrestling over the past few days. And those two other people are Drew White.
This is Smack Talk.
What song is that supposed to be?
I don't know. Life.
The Song of Life. And also joining us, Robert DeFelice.
From the people that brought you This is Smack Talk, this is Smack Talk.
I don't know that song either.
I think that was a speech, actually.
It was a Shatner song.
Yeah, I think it's the Shatner version of This is Smack Talk.
So, we went last night over the whole thing when it came to Backlash and about how it sucked. And for the people that were like, oh, you guys don't like anything or something like that, yeah, we weren't the only ones. And we have plenty of stuff to talk about from the past couple of days or so. Backlash is not going to be one of those things, really. And if you have not checked out our Backlash review, then go ahead and check that out. It's up on the YouTube channel the way that everything else is. But we do have to go back in time just a little bit to a couple things that happened a couple days ago. And actually, we had a couple more hot tags that I had written down that we didn't cover last week because they came afterward. But it kind of felt like it was just so past that point. Like, Corey Graves had said, he spoke out a little bit about the Saudi Arabia thing. There was a little bit of a rumor that he might have heat. I doubt it, the way that nothing has happened out of that and stuff. So we got rid of a couple of those. But an older story to talk about here is something that I've been kind of hoping that we would get a little bit more information about, but we haven't. Or at least I haven't found anything. Which is that both the AAF and the XFL want to have a team for their football leagues in Orlando at Camping World Stadium. And the big story that I'm hearing about this is AAF is going to be happening before the XFL, yet at the same time, they don't seem to have their stuff all sorted out yet. The XFL, they're starting in 2020. I still think that it's not a good idea to be, in May of 2018 and still not even have football teams for XFL. But if the AAF is coming up ahead of time, I gotta imagine that this whole Orlando situation, if they're looking at like, well, we could do one or the other, it would make sense to me to go with the XFL, wouldn't it? To you guys too? Or do you guys have a different perspective about this? Or could they do both?
I think they could go with both. I don't understand why they would have to choose. I definitely think if they had to choose, they're probably erring on the side of caution and going with the AAF because that's, Charlie Ebersol, and the XFL doesn't have the best, reputation. So if they end up choosing the AAF over the XFL, that might be why, but I don't see why they would need to choose.
Yeah, I think in a lot of cases with when it comes to like teams like, I'm trying to think of the exact word to use in this instance, but I don't see an issue with both teams using the stadium if they have to. I was going to make a joke about how since they're in Orlando, the loser could just go to wherever TNA used to tape Impact, but I don't know. I mean, the XFL is not going to be until 2019 anyways, or is it 2020?
No, it's 2020. The AAF is starting in 2019.
Okay, I was thinking it was 2018 and 2019 for some reason, so I don't know. I still think both of them are going to bomb. I think it's going to be really hard anyways to get a new football league going, especially even with all the controversies with politics going on, which is what the XFL is. It's just like taking all the politics out of it. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think this is just definitely going to be something that we'll need more time to get more information about because I really haven't seen too much more come about it since then.
I'm still confused about how they think that this is going to work just in like 2 years and just build everything. But I'm also kind of confused about how this is going to work out when it comes to if the AAF succeeds, is the XFL going to look like it's just biting off of that? Or if the AAF doesn't succeed, does that mean positive or negative for the XFL? Is that like, well, we realized what they did wrong, so we fixed it? Or is it just like, well, people are going to go, oh, God, that's just like another AAF type of thing. And then it's like, it's kind of confusing. But also, they've got the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You've got those just for the NFL itself. And if you add some Orlando team for the AAF and an Orlando team for the XFL, how many fucking people are you going to have? Like, you're going to oversaturate this market.
Yeah, it really depends on how crazy football fans are with how much they actually want to watch the sport. As someone who loves football, I follow it pretty much religiously, at least professionally. I don't like college football. That shit's boring as hell.
Well, the college football too. I fucking forgot about those.
Yeah, so it's kind of like with wrestling, where I can watch WWE and I could sometimes watch New Japan and maybe some of the smaller indie scenes, but it takes a lot out of me to just constantly just like watch all that stuff. I really don't see myself be getting attached to the XFL or the AAF anyways, unless for some reason it's just an incredible product and they are actually able to get incredible talent in there. But I don't know how you're going to convince a bunch of motherfuckers out of college to instead of taking millions of dollars to play in the NFL, to take a substantially lesser amount to play in one of these two lesser leagues.
Because they're not going to get the good people. That's how.
Yeah, exactly. So the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business, and you can say what you want about the WWE and Vince McMahon, whether or not he's a billionaire or not. It depends on what you believe with what they say when it comes to his value. The NFL brings in billions of dollars every year.
There's no comparison.
Yeah, I just don't see how it's going to work anyways. And it's going to be really embarrassing. And even if it's just one of these two leagues, like renting out the arena for them to use during the season, it's going to be really embarrassing if you don't even get it half full, which doesn't look pleasing. If you ever watch any sport, if you watch it and there's no one there, it's not fun or interesting at all. There's a lot of reasons why we make fun of TNA when it came to some of their bigger pay-per-views, and we see pictures and there's literally less than 1,000 people there in a 10,000 capacity arena. So I don't know. I really hope the XFL works, just from the standpoint as a WWE person. It'd be cool, but I probably don't give two shits still.
I'm not obviously a big football person. I've never really been too much into the sport, but I've been trying to follow this XFL stuff just because I want to build myself up enough to be able to talk a little bit about it, since there is a little bit of crossover. And to me, this is just kind of like, all right, it makes sense that the XFL wants a presence in Orlando because they are tied to that. They got the performance center and stuff, and then it was like, oh, and so is the AAF, and I'm like, all right, that's not gonna work.
Tune in 2020 for the XFL weekly roundup with Tony Mango.
Well, I think you're gonna be leading the roundup. You're the only one here that is following football.
I know. I probably get roped in as well.
The sad part is I've tried to think of what I would call segments and stuff, and I was like, I don't know shit about football. I can't make pun names.
I could come up with something.
It's halftime heat.
They have some. I'll be curious though if they get some of the younger talent in WWE, because a lot of football players who don't make it into the NFL, some of them do end up going to WWE. We have Titus O'Neil, Baron Corbin. Those are just two off the top. Mojo Rawley. That's three off the top of our heads, at least. I'm curious if they're going to be able, if WWE or if Vince McMahon is going to instead try to take that and push those people to the XFL instead of trying to integrate them in the WWE. Because I know he pretty much says that they're two separate entities. He doesn't want too much cross branding between the two, but I'm curious how that's going to go.
Well, he thought enough to start a separate entertainment organization just to put this under that umbrella. I don't think there will be too much crossover. However, I have to think that even if they don't get Camping World Stadium, they're going to try to find some spot in the Orlando area just to be able to have a presence in Orlando, because they are so rooted in that area now. That's
And
basically their headquarters.
there was a report going out that WWE is listed as a minority shareholder. So there is crossover just fundamentally, which was like, that's why everybody was asking everybody on the, not everybody, it was just McMahon, but they kept asking him, like, what kind of crossover are you going to have? And he kept getting all pissed and going, like, there is no crossover.
No crossover.
And everybody's like, yeah, there's going to be. Stop bullshitting us. And within a couple of months, it's already been like, all right, listen, there's going to be a little crossover. And then it's like, okay. So stop bullshitting us, you know?
Well, I think Vince might have designs and desires to not have crossover. And then, you know, logic kicks in and it's like, well, fuck, there's got to be a little bit of crossover.
I'm just thinking of the rapper Logic now. That's all. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is a quick hot tag, but Leo Rush said he's releasing some single and it's called Money Money. And I was just kind of like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, that money.
How come every single rap song has to be about money?
Well, you watch Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
Incredible.
I love Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's a fantastic show. But, I mean, speaking of Logic, I mean, if you want to hear about someone talk about suicide, you listen to that.
At least that's got something to it, I guess. You know,
yeah,
like
Logic's got some substance. He can, you know, play the fence a little bit.
Yeah. Shout out to Logic. I've been listening to him since 2010. He's he's top two. He's top two for me.
So this is gonna show my age or something like that. But do people still say ill anymore?
Some do. It's not
so. Is Logic ill at any point?
Nah, a lot of people think he's whack because he talks about being biracial all the time.
I just like the idea that somebody would call him illogic.
Well, that's
well, we're going to transition from that to a different name. WWE has trademarked for a future wrestling show, Great American Bash.
I think this is going to be like Starrcade, where it's just a house show, unfortunately.
I hope so, but my first reaction was, please don't tell me they're going to make the Greatest American Bash.
Oh my god.
Because I do not want to see this crap.
Well, it's got to be a Saudi Arabian show.
Well, what if it was like like, you know, the kind of like they played up the Iranian thing? What if it was like, you know, the Greatest American Bash and we're going to bring in the Saudi American people or whatever? I don't know. But I am thinking more along those lines. I think that it's going to be a Starrcade type show. And that means that we have to get some information about this pretty soon because the only time that you can do Great American Bash for it to make a lot of sense is July. Yeah. And I don't know their tour schedule for sure. I probably should just bring it up on the website. But July 4th, let me just double check that, because they're not going to add another pay-per-view. And July 4th is a Wednesday. Do they normally do like tour live event things on Wednesday?
I think Wednesday is their day off.
Let's see. We're going to go through the schedule here. There's a July 3rd. That's a SmackDown Omaha kind of thing.
Well, that's the taping.
Yeah, so maybe it's just going to be like, hey, this is a special event or something like that, and that's not going to be it, because you know, the hell with it. They have a July 8th Heat Wave tour in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Could be that. Just Great American Bash. It's Sunday, the July 8th, you know?
Is it a case where the name just expired, the trademark expired or something? And
it could, but the weird thing about it is 9 times out of 10, whenever they trademark something, they end up using it. Like when they ended up having the Unstoppable Force, then they started calling Nia that, and the Revival and Mixed Match Challenge, and you know, so
they trademarked No Way Jose.
Yeah, I remember when that came out, everybody was like, what are they trademarking that for? It was, it must be a catchphrase for somebody named Jose. And then it became, no, it's actually the guy's name. And everybody was like, what the fuck? Really? What's the Revival? Is that like some kind of a TV series?
It's a video game. Like...
That's the, what were they calling themselves before they were the Revival? They were something else.
They were just Dash and Dawson.
No, they had some other name. Shoot Nation? Was that down? No, wait, Shoot Nation was Sawyer Fulton.
Yeah.
The Mechanics. That's what they were calling themselves.
Oh my god, I can't believe
I like that though.
The Mechanics sounds like such a TNA name though.
Well, it sounds like it would be 1994 WWE, and they'd come out with tool belts and shit.
Yeah.
Well, they're very Southern, you know. They're very like Crockett tag team wrestling style. They'll probably work the Great American Bash just because.
I just like the idea that the Great American Bash is coming back in some form, because I always thought that that was a pretty decent name. And I really wish that that would have been what we had seen last year instead of Great Balls of Fire, because that was an awful name. And
I still love that name. I don't
really
use it. It's something different. It's hard for me to hate
Great
something
Balls
like that.
of Fire, and the logo was a penis. Like,
Well, they had like 4 logos that they went through, because it was like, how about we use...
because the first one was a flaming penis. Like,
No, that was the third one. That's the bad part about it. They had the generic, like, just text mostly kind of thing. And then they had like the flame, and that looked fine. And then they were like, nah, let's make it a dick and balls. And then it was like, oh, everybody's making fun of the dick and balls, so let's make it less dick and balls, but still dick and balls. And then it was like, all right, if they don't like that, then we're just going to wait a year and have a storyline end with people getting kicked in the balls. Somehow I'm getting my balls in there, you know?
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
a lot of ball stuff going on lately.
This Shinsuke AJ feud should culminate at a pay-per-view called Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah. I will say, taking it back to the Great American Bash, I went to the Great American Bash in 2006. Yes, it was 2006.
Punjabi prison match.
Oh, dude, God, that match sucks. I wasn't even excited for that then. It was so fucking bad.
Couldn't see anything, right?
Yeah, not really.
That was probably the better one, because it was Taker and Big Show.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, Batista wasn't on that show though, was he?
He was. He wrestled Kennedy.
Kennedy, okay, yeah. Because I remember Taker, Hassan, and Taker like threw Hassan through the freaking stage essentially to kill him.
That's 2005.
No, that's 2005. No, that's 2006. I thought.
Nope. 2006 is the Punjabi prison match. For Taker.
Oh fuck! I'm so fucking backwards with this shit, dude. I keep on thinking Hassan made it to 2006.
You're like, oh, I forgot, I didn't go there.
No, I am so bad at this for some reason, because I always mark out for Muhammad Hassan, and I'm still disappointed because he's also wrestling again. I don't know if you guys seen that.
Yeah, I did. That was weird. He wrestled in some upstate New York show.
Just imagine if he came back.
Nope,
just
not happening.
No, I know. Just imagine for just one night with that music.
Maybe that'd be like,
it would have been funny if they did it in Saudi Arabia.
They could do it in a Great American Bash.
Yeah, it'd be incredible. Oh, I will say, take it back to the 2006 Great American Bash, which totally had Muhammad Hassan there. If you didn't know, Rey Mysterio. I was disappointed when Mysterio did lose that title, though.
I gotta say, I've always enjoyed the WCW pay-per-view names, like Slamboree, Halloween Havoc, that's the one that I'm so surprised they didn't take when they bought their IP.
Well, I've said this before. It confuses the hell out of me why they don't call special events extra things. Because if they do these tapings and it's like, oh, we've got SmackDown on Halloween, it's our Halloween special, just call it Halloween Havoc on SmackDown. Like, that would make people mark out, and they'd be like, oh, cool, maybe it's going to be a special edition. You don't have to make it a pay-per-view. It's just do the same thing with, like, a Spring Stampede, and do the same thing with
I love Spring Stampede.
if they are doing some kind of a show on New Year's, then call it New Year's Revolution. You already have the name, But Great American Bash is like, if they're separating that and trademarking it, I think we should pay attention, because that could be another Starrcade type of thing. And that's kind of cool. We'll figure it out, I'm assuming, over the next month or so, because it's already a little bit into May, and they can't be like, all right, it's June 20th, and we're just going to start advertising something for June 29th or something. So we'll get more information about that, and when it does, then you'll see it on the hot tags. Real quick thing that we probably aren't going to talk too much about, because there's not much to talk about it, but Pete Dunne has announced that he's going to have a kid in November, so congrats, Pete Dunne.
Yay. Somebody who's my age having a child. Yeah.
He's too young for that.
Yeah, exactly.
24-year-olds should not be having kids, I don't think. And so many of them do.
Dude, there's so many people my age having kids, and I'm disgusted by it.
Yeah, it's kind of
22.
I mean, I've known people that were 15 and had kids.
Oh, so do I.
You're like, you're already still a kid. You can't have a kid, you know?
My freshman year of high school, my school had like the second highest teenage pregnancy rate in the state of Indiana, which is, you know, which is an incredible accomplishment. And it's also really funny because
they got a plaque.
It's what?
They have a plaque in a trophy room, kind of like.
Yes. Yeah, it's like the Hall of Fame when you like walk right into the front door. But it's incredible because it's not even like my school wasn't even like in the inner city or anything like that. It's just like a rural town. So this is a bunch of kids are bored with nothing to do, so they fuck. That's essentially how it went.
Let's move on to that and talk about a different family member kind of story. There are rumors that there's going to be a second season of Holy Foley.
Ew.
I don't know who's asking for it.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I want to see more of, you know, is Noelle going to be a wrestler? Did she decide that she wasn't going to be a wrestler? How'd that end up?
I only could sit through 2 episodes. I thought it was awful. And I felt bad about it because I really like Mick Foley. He's a really caring, awesome dude. One of my favorites of all time. In my top 5 favorites of all time. And I just don't give a shit about, like...
His family?
His family, yeah. Like, the kids are awkward. And I mean, part of this is just, I don't like reality shows. So, any reality show bugs me like that. Because I just don't care about the whole, like... We fabricated that we are having an argument, and this is the interesting thing that we're doing this week. Wouldn't it be crazy if we all went to the farmer's market or like some kind of bullshit? I don't care. And when you've got like the sons, and they're all just sort of like, oh, isn't it weird? Like when Dad does weird stuff, and Noelle is whatever, and then you got Dewey, who's I don't know what his deal was, but
he wanted to be a writer for WWE.
And his wife buying dolls. Like, I just don't care. Noelle's hot, but not hot enough for me to watch a show like that. I'd rather just, you know, browse, wrestle with the plot, and somebody posts some kind of Instagram pic she posted or something like that. It'd be a lot easier, you know?
You know, I can't get my head around the idea that this fucking psychopath is the most human person to ever be in the wrestling business.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible.
Yeah, you would think that he would be just a total nutcase, and it's just like, let me work on all these charities and let me be like super nice and whatever. And you're like, what are your favorite things to do? Expecting him to be like, oh, like, you know, torture animals, and he's like, I love Santa Claus. It's like,
yeah, he's like, I love Christmas and I want to do Christmas related things my whole life, and it's like, what the fuck? That's
awesome though. Great guy. Go back and check out that interview that I did with him if you ever haven't done it, anybody. It's not a great interview. I barely knew what I was doing.
You should admit it.
Yeah, well, I was really early on, and I was just kind of like, oh, you're giving me a chance to interview Mick Foley? Yeah, yes, sure. And I was like, so, hey, Mick, how are things? Kind of thing. This is something, I don't know, I had this down for the hot tags, and then at the same time, they seem to have sort of said that this isn't an issue, but there are reports that Alexa Bliss has suffered some kind of a shoulder injury at Backlash, yet she's already announced for competing in a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank. So I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, maybe it was like a precautionary, hey, she's hurt, we'll keep you updated. And then it's like, hey, she can go, no problem.
Yeah, she must have gotten checked out and gotten a pass, because I don't think that they would have done anything with her, at least tonight. Like, maybe next week it would have been like, oh, Alexa Bliss is also in the match, and, you know, now that we've gotten a week and we can test it out, can't be that bad. Or if it is, then they're going to do some kind of an angle where she doesn't actually perform, you know?
Nia didn't make the show tonight, right?
Nope. No Nia, no Ronda. Who else do we not have? No Mickey.
No Natalia. But
well,
Ronda,
she was on the preview, like, can't wait to win the Money in the Bank type of thing.
But Ronda, you know, kudos to her. She's been, like, at every show, and she's been really dedicated. And speaking of Ronda, Tony, she's got some friends coming in, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. That is one of our big topics here. They have pretty much confirmed that Marina Shafir and Jessamyn Duke are now joining WWE as well. They're reporting to the Performance Center, which is exactly what Ronda Rousey did, exactly what Shayna Baszler did. It's happening. Telling you, 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen in some capacity next year, main event of WrestleMania.
I'm going to go with, I don't think they have the patience. Survivor Series.
Make it an elimination match.
I'm still thinking it's Raw versus SmackDown stuff.
Well, they could easily work it that way. I guess actually you can't, can you?
You can't. Tasha and Bailey.
Okay, but you can write that off as it's an attraction, man. Like, and they'll just do it unless it's, fit into some weird, elimination thing at the Royal Rumble, and then it leads to Charlotte and Ronda.
Well, this is the other alternative I can think of, and it's almost sort of the reverse, I guess, of what I was thinking for this year. I'm assuming that Charlotte doesn't win this title back from Carmella. It would just be strange. Then again, I don't know what's happening with the Styles Nakamura thing, so strange doesn't seem to be outside the realm of possibility anymore. But I am working more under the assumption that Asuka beats Carmella. And I can see Charlotte, since she didn't get a chance to compete in the Royal Rumble last year, I think Charlotte's winning the Royal Rumble. And meanwhile, on the Monday Night Raw side of things, Nia is not holding that title into WrestleMania. It's just not going to happen. So she has to lose it to somebody, and I doubt she's going to lose it to Ruby Riott or anybody like that, but I think we're going to get either a heel turn for Bayley or Sasha or Natty. And I wouldn't be too shocked at all if Natty is the one that beats Nia, and then they set up Natty versus Ronda, and Ronda takes the belt from Natty. And then Charlotte challenges Ronda and loses at WrestleMania. Then you got the horsewomen on the side,
Well,
the downside
all,
with
I
that,
don't
though,
want Bayley and Sasha on the side again.
Well, see, the weird scenario when it comes to that is Becky and Charlotte, actually all 4 of the horsewomen right now, technically, are all baby faces. And when the MMA horsewomen come in there, you got Ronda as a babyface, Baszler as the heel on NXT.
I think you can easily turn Ronda.
I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking Duke and Shafir, I don't really know too much about their personalities, but I would think that they would come in more as baby faces, and then it's how do you turn Baszler? But I don't know. Maybe they don't even bother turning people. Maybe it's just a matter of
Yeah, they don't really need to. It's such an attraction in and of itself.
Yeah, it'd be kind of strange, but this is at least another sign that they're going to go towards that direction. And I think that a lot of us pretty much saw that coming because...
You think they're taking too long?
No. I think I think people are still going to be interested in it regardless.
I think it's arguable that they took too long already, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like they're trying to advertise this as I don't know, if right now they tried to say hey, isn't Bo Dallas interesting with this whole Believe thing? It'd be like, dude, that was 3 or 4 years ago at this point. No, we don't give a shit anymore.
I would.
They're still popular enough that it's kind of all right, they're going to get a lot of attention. But it's nowhere near as big as it would have been if they could have done
Ronda
this.
Getting her shit knocked loose.
Yeah, if they would have done this when Ronda was still on top, holy shit, would they be rolling in the fucking network subscriptions.
Well, I had talked to you about this, where I think we need a Ronda Rousey match at WrestleMania that will attract casual fans, and this is the only way I could see them not doing the Charlotte match would be as if they put her against Nikki Bella, because Nikki Bella to me is the only name other than Ronda that people really know outside of the wrestling bubble. Charlotte's big, but no one really would know Charlotte Flair if you showed them a picture and said, "Who is this?" They're not gonna be like, "Oh, that's Charlotte Flair."
I don't think that many people really know Nikki either. I mean, they
you would
do know
be
from her,
so
like,
surprised.
her show does have like a different, like, some people watch that and don't watch WWE, and Dancing with the Stars helps and stuff, but
And the constant coverage of her relationship help.
Yeah.
I think she's a big star. Now, granted, I don't think it would be that attractive of a match for me as a diehard fan, but I want to see new eyes on the product, and I think Ronda could be a key to that.
I think that could be more of a SummerSlam. Like, Charlotte and Ronda at WrestleMania to me feels like a WrestleMania, and Ronda and Nikki feels like it sounds stupid to say, but it feels gimmicky, which is like everything's gimmicky. That's kind of the point. But like that feels more like you could throw it away at a SummerSlam, and it'll make SummerSlam feel like a big deal, but at the same time, I'm not going to feel too disappointed in it.
Right.
Like, whatever they build up for WrestleMania, if it doesn't work out, no matter what match it is, whether it's like the Intercontinental title or a random feud or something, any match at WrestleMania that doesn't seem over the top to me is a letdown. And it could be great and stuff like that, and I could still just be like, it just doesn't feel like a WrestleMania. So SummerSlam is like, I don't know, like B- WrestleMania to me. Like, you can get away with big matches, but you could also get away with, all right, that's not the biggest thing in the world.
Well, one really last quick Ronda question. Do you think they bring back a gimmick like the Lion's Den for her?
What was the breakdown of the Lion's Den? Was it?
It was essentially their version of an octagon.
Because wasn't there like something behind like the backstage area? Didn't they do? Was that or was that something else? Or did they do like two versions of it?
They did it in a separate theater from where they would normally do the show, but it was just like their own version of an octagon.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do it. Although we haven't seen Ronda do anything other than WrestleMania as far as like actual in-ring stuff, so maybe they try to make that one of her kind of things. And then it's like, hey, this is my world, WWE, and then Ronda goes, yeah, but you're stepping into a Lion's Den, and that's kind of more my world, and they could do something like that. It'd be funny if they bought one of like the Impact, just different sided rings, and just kind of went like, all right, we'll meet in the middle here. Like, kind of.
Well, they just do a 6 sides of steel. Oh, wait, we're covering the table for 3 last.
Actually, yeah, let's do that last. Because real quick, I want to mention something that this is just on Monday Night Raw. We saw, and we'll touch on this again, I'm sure, in little bits and pieces, but. Holy shit, are those Money in the Bank briefcases ugly as fuck?
Yeah. Fuck.
Those are terrible.
It's like the green and gold specifically. The white one didn't look as bad, but that green it seemed awful. It just was awful.
I think they're both terrible, and I think that the main problem is whoever made them didn't do their work. Like, they look to me, if you take, well, first off, last year's Money in the Bank briefcases were perfect to me. That gold one for the men and the white one for the women, I think that they look perfect.
Corbin didn't have a blue one?
Oh wait, you know what? Maybe he did have a blue one. Yeah, he did have a blue one. All right, so it wasn't last year's. It was when the men's. Who had the gold one? Was that Rollins?
Rollins had it, and then Ambrose had it, and Sheamus had it.
So the gold one for the men's is the one I'm talking about, and the white one that we had last year for the women. Those two, I think, are the perfect ones. The red and the blue and whatever, I don't like them, but at least it makes sense if you're having like a separate split kind of thing. And if you're going to switch it around and you're going to make like this green textured, ugly kind of thing, you got to go under Photoshop and change the hue of the blue. Just change that to the gold. Don't do a color overlay of the entire Money in the Bank logo and make it yellow, because that makes all like that like bevel that they had, that's all yellow, and everything looks so blocky and bloated. And yellow isn't gold, so that just looks weird. It's almost like somebody spilled a bunch of yellow paint on top of a green briefcase. And it reminds me of like something you'd see on like Ninja Turtles.
It's just not
horrible.
very good looking.
Even earlier tonight, they showed the graphics for like, hey, we're going to have these matches tonight. And they were using the old style, like the old women's one from last year and stuff. And it was like, then you changed it over to this? Like, who in their right mind said, nah, those don't work. Let's commission some new ones. And then looked at that design and went, yep, that's good. Bring back the old ones, man. These are disgusting. And everybody was kind of crapping on them, so I'm glad that I'm not the only one this is.
Why do they need to change the briefcases? They're just, briefcases that say Money in the Bank. Did you need to change it from the gold? Did you even need to change it from the red or the blue? Like, I personally like, the first 3 ones that were like just a black briefcase. But, of course, we can't have a WWE prop without massive branding, so...
Well, the branding makes sense to me, because if you're just carrying around a briefcase, you just sort of look like you're trying to do an IRS gimmick. At least with the Money in the Bank, it's like, I'm holding this, it's like a championship kind of, but this is just an ugly design. Like, almost as if they would have changed, say, I don't know, the logo for... Well, the Money in the Bank logo is fine the way that it is and stuff like that. What's an upcoming, like, the Extreme Rules logo is that big X. If they were to just, like, make that 5 times more bold to where it almost looks like a 0 instead of an X, like, it's just weird, blocky type of weird thing that they did, and I don't know, I don't like it at all. But that's not even, like, an official hot tag. It's just, one of those things.
All right, Tony, real quick. Piss some people off here. If you had to choose and you could only have two ladder matches, do you have one for the men, one for the women, or do you have a Raw man and a SmackDown man and say the women don't really need it this year?
1 men, 1 women.
I'm gonna go and piss people off and say Raw men, SmackDown men, the women don't need it this year.
Why would you say that?
I don't think that the roster is strong enough on the SmackDown end for a match like this, and I don't think really that they need to do this just for the sake of equality. I think really the Greatest Royal Rumble proved that can be abolished at any point if it doesn't fit the money-making, ideal of the night. So they could have easily just said, not this year, we'll do it again next year.
I'm all for having like as many Money in the Bank briefcase matches as possible, just because I believe that if you're going to have a pay-per-view named after something, a good majority of the matches should be that stipulation. Like,
but you can't burn people out on multi-man ladder matches.
If you do it once a year, you can. I mean, they do Hell in a Cell once a year, and granted, some people are... Now. Yeah, that's true, but some people are excited for Hell in a Cell when it does come around.
I'm excited for Hell in a Cell when they fit the rivalry.
I think when it comes to Hell in a Cell, or when I think as marks or as people who follow wrestling a lot more than other people, or just standard casual wrestling fans, we definitely don't get excited for a lot of stuff like they would. So if a casual fan comes in, they would probably enjoy it. Like for the Lockdown pay-per-view at TNA, I completely was fine with just having every match be a cage match, essentially. Like something like that. That's interesting. If you're gonna, I just find stuff like that interesting to a certain extent. Now when it, like for Extreme Rules, that's kind of lame because an Extreme Rules match is a no DQ match, and 5 matches on an Extreme Rules card are variations of a no DQ match, essentially, which is kind of dumb. But I don't know. I think, especially on the men's side, they have enough, as you say. I think there's enough men on both Raw and SmackDown that you could do 2 ladder matches for men. Maybe not for the women right now.
No,
However,
you couldn't do 4.
However, I think when it comes to the women, if you give them 1 or 2 years, I think you could. I think they have enough. I think they have more women now on the main roster than they used to. It feels like, and I know that
definitely.
I know co-bearing and pay-per-views will do that, but as more people watch NXT and get used to these women, not everyone will watch NXT, but some will. I think you can. Some of these people are coming in with a built-in base already. A lot of people know, like Peyton Royce and others who came up this year for the Superstars shakeup. I believe that if you truly want to, you could just do that essentially if you really wanted to.
Well, then we're gonna go into the the final. I don't know why I'm saying second here. It's because I'm looking at the number 2 on here.
Wait, you didn't do Camp WWE?
Exactly. That's what I was looking at the 2 for. We've got 2 shows that we need to break down here that are on the WWE Network. We have the Season 2 premiere of Camp WWE, and we have the Table for 3. So I want to talk first about Camp WWE. Real quick take on this. I don't like Camp WWE.
Why not?
You didn't like Season 1?
No, I realized something while watching Season 2 premiere that I'll finish off on, at least this current little point. But my issue with the first season of Camp WWE, well, actually, the very first thing that bugged me about Camp WWE was I hate the whole camp thing that they have. It's like 15 seconds, it feels like, and it drives me crazy. But I hate the voice acting on the majority of it, and I just didn't find most of the jokes funny. And while watching this episode, I realized one of the things that fundamentally bugs me about the show. It has nothing to do with WWE for the most part.
Because
it's
the
just
roster's super outdated.
Well, that's another thing. The roster has like long-haired Rusev with the metal, so the designs are off, and the character models don't make any sense to the current thing. But it takes a while to do animation, and I kind of understand it. And they didn't add no new characters on this episode.
Does Taker still have long hair?
Yeah, he's still like a goth kid kind of thing.
And Paige is like the one girl, or like, I guess they have the Bell Twins as well. But that's my main issue with the show is the roster they're reflecting doesn't reflect this roster at all. Now, again, animation takes a while, so I forgave it for season 1. But, you know, if you knew you were going to do a season 2, yeah, you should have switched up a lot of characters.
Well, my biggest problem is it's not a WWE show. It's just a cartoon. If you got rid of this storyline, which if you didn't see the episode, spoiler alert, this is the whole story. It's John Cena helps out everybody so much. He asks for like a helper to help him help people. And it's just a clone of himself, and he gets all upset because it's like, wow, that guy actually helps a lot of people, and now I feel like I'm inadequate and whatever. And
it should have been Roman.
If you took off the idea that, like, when the John Cena clone character thing was helping out, they kept playing the John Cena theme. If you took out the John Cena theme and you changed quote-unquote John Cena to just, like, I don't know, Davey Smith, then it becomes just a regular cartoon. Yeah, Davey Boy Smith. I didn't even think about that. It just becomes a regular TV show. It's just a cartoon. It has nothing to do with WWE. If it were storyline kind of things that were making fun of WWE things, then I could get behind it. Like if they had, say, The Undertaker is, I don't know, in a scenario where he's trying to figure out a family affair situation. Like he wants to go to family therapy, and there's Kane, and there's Paul Bearer, and there's Brother Love, and they do a whole big thing like that, and Katie Vick is there. That could be funny as hell. But instead, it's a goth emo kid. Well,
I really want to see that now.
Wouldn't it? That was the first thing that popped in my mind. I didn't even think about this kind of shit. And that's what makes me go, like, just put a little bit of effort into it. You're tailoring this to WWE fans. And you're not going to get people that aren't WWE fans watching this because you have to be on the WWE network to see it. So make it about WWE stuff. That's what would be funny for me. And make it like one of the characters goes and gets a haircut, and they go to the barber shop, and it's fucking Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And then what if there's a fight that happens there, and it's Shawn Michaels throwing Marty Jannetty through the fucking mirror and stuff like that, like in a cartoon format, so it's more over the top and whatever. Like, you could do funny things off of there, and they just don't.
I'm gonna need you to collaborate with Seth Green and get some of this on the show, because now I want to see all that.
Like, why is there no Halloween episode dealing with Papa Shango or the Boogeyman?
Tony, they haven't got to that episode yet.
Well, they didn't last year. You know,
Yeah.
like that's
You
the
can't
type
do a
of thing,
Halloween
like,
episode every year.
they couldn't do Halloween Havoc either. The only thing I like about this show, and it's, at this point, it's literally the only thing that I like about it, is Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
Him pointing and laughing at Big Show for not being able to tie his shoes and just going, I am awesome with kids. It feels great hearing Vince McMahon deliver these lines, because you can hear him say, like, oh, that's fucking dumb. And you're like, it's Vince McMahon saying the word fuck. Like, it's kind of just like, that's the only thing I find any humor in. When they show, I absolutely hate the voice that they have for the Austin character. That is annoying as hell to me. That, like, kind of, it's like a little kid Southern accent type of, you can go fuck off kind of thing. And it's like, that's not Austin.
I'm hungry. Like, you know.
It kind of reminds me of what I think of what a Seth Rollins angry teenage kid would be. Just with his attitude.
Well, hell, why not have angry teenage Seth Rollins as a character on this show?
Honestly, they missed it.
They need to update the roster. Like, just have a new season and a new crop of campers comes in.
Yeah, why not?
Honestly, I'm surprised. They should have done something like that this season. You could have easily pulled that off.
You know what would be great is if, okay, so Stephanie and Hunter are the camp counselors. If Stephanie had, like, the women's evolution camp, and Triple H has his, like, NXT camp, and it's just, like, you see back and forth between those two camp groups, I think that'd be pretty funny.
And you could do so, like, this is so easy to do. You could do, all right, in the WWE camp, you've got The Undertaker. And in the NXT camp, you've got Aleister Black. And the two of them interact with each other. And it's like, well, you seem pretty dark. We should be friends. And, like, they could, like, make a play off of the idea that they are kind of similar. And then fucking Bray Wyatt can pop up and you can make fun of the fact that it's like, oh, well, nobody likes him. Like, that kind of a thing and stuff. Because it's like, oh, fuck this dude. He's just sitting there in his rocking chair all day. Like,
and then
you can do
Finn,
fun scenarios.
Then you can have Finn be like, well, my club is for everyone, but the goth kids won't accept him, so he has to turn into the demon to get the goth kids.
There's so many fun things. Why isn't the bankroller of the whole park Ted DiBiase? And you can just make stories about that. Instead, you've got Sergeant Slaughter is popping up, and he's like a camp counselor, but he doesn't do anything that makes him seem like Sergeant Slaughter. So you just...
We need to find a cartoonist.
Well, it's like, it gives me this impression that the show could be funny if it were about WWE, but instead it's almost as if they took a show that wasn't WWE and decided to, like, map over it with WWE-esque characters, kind of like Doki Doki Panic. That wasn't a Mario game, and then it just became a Mario game, and then people are like, oh, Super Mario 2, and you're like, well, that's Doki Doki Panic, and it doesn't feel like Mario because you don't have, like, you're not jumping on top of people and squashing them. You're picking them up and throwing them. And that's just like an awkward mechanic and stuff. But, you know, it's like, that drives me crazy about it. So you're not going to see every week a whole season 2, episode 2 review and stuff. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. And I'm actually kind of happy that they've been doing this thing lately where they've been adding more content throughout the week instead of just, this is a half an hour thing after Raw and then everything else is reruns. They've been doing the something else to wrestle.
Have you been keeping up with that? I
have been, and I don't love it, but I like some of the insight behind it. Like, I loved the whole story that I think it was this past episode where they're talking about Shawn Michaels. Yeah. I loved the insight that Bruce Pritchard had where he said that they had been pitching Shawn Michaels is a babyface. Why don't we give him the title? And Vince McMahon was like, damn it, I don't ever want to hear about this whole babyface Shawn Michaels wins the title thing. And then as soon as WrestleMania 11 gets done, he's like, "Am I the only one who sees that we've got a baby face? We should put
Why
the title on."
fuck am I the only one thinking?
That to me is like, all right, well then a lot of the booking over the past couple of years makes sense. Like, that's the type of thing Daniel Bryan gets over, and he's like, "We're not pushing Daniel Bryan." And then everybody goes crazy. Then he goes, "Damn it, why aren't we pushing Daniel Bryan?" Like, I like that. I don't like the presentation behind it of them just on a Skype call. I think that is pretty lame because they've got more of a budget than I do, so they shouldn't be as lame as what the end of the year awards 2 years ago was. Just Google Hangouts. Like, spend a couple of bucks. You got network money, you can figure it out. But I do like that. And for the fact of matter, talking about WWE Network stuff, Table for Three was the special of like the post-Raw kind of edition. And this one was called Show Stealers. It had AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, and Shane McMahon. I thought it was a damn good episode.
Thought it was fun.
I'm sure you didn't get a chance to check it out, right?
No, my internet hated me. So
I would say definitely see it.
Well,
it's
I'll
not
probably
like
turn on after I get off this call.
I'm glad that you said this call instead of just leaving it at that.
I'll turn it on right after I get off.
You never know.
It's not one of the things that'll be like, wow, this is like the most informative in the world, but there were some good little moments to it. I thought it was really interesting that they actually showed footage from Hard Justice of TNA. Like, they had the little Global Wrestling Network logo.
Yeah. They're plugging the Impact Wrestling Global Wrestling Network. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It had to be a deal where they were like, can we use the footage? And they're like, yeah, you have to promote it and stuff. And they're like,
well,
all right,
no,
fine.
But they're also working with them on the Hardy Boys DVD.
Yeah. Well, if you're Impact, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
I wish they would just buy the fucking library already. I just want the whole library on the network so I don't have to pay for two things.
They have to be trying to just work with them a little bit just so they could get a good deal with them later on.
It has to be, because they've been mentioning TNA lately and stuff and not worrying about throwing out references and everything. So I'm assuming that they're probably just like, look, they are not a threat at all. And eventually we're just going to buy them out. Like, TNA goes through this thing, and we still call it TNA because it's like, hey, fuck you, you're still TNA. They go through this thing where it's like every year and a half, everything is going to change. And you get like new people, and people come in and change everything. The most recent thing was that they finally got title belts. And it's like, it took you long enough. You had stickers in front of the other ones. So now that they've gotten that, they've got another couple of months before the next owner comes in or something, and we'll be bouncing around.
Yeah, I think they should just let WWE buy their library. If shows like this show exactly why. Look at that library. They have AJ versus Kurt, AJ versus Sting, Sting versus Kurt. I could go on and on. That library is essential to the network and the network's catalog of things. Going to the show, I did take offense to not offense, I guess, but the name kind of weirded me out. I don't know if I would consider Shane McMahon a show stealer, but
I was confused about that too.
He does tend to steal the show with the moments that he makes.
He put on one of the most intense matches ever though with Kurt Angle once. So
they talk about that, the King of the Ring one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would assume they would have to talk about that. I'm assuming that they all talked about all of their confrontations with each other.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, pretty
also, was this the first time that they ever showed an actual server handing them the food?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a face.
I don't remember ever seeing, like, a waiter or a waitress or anything else. This time around, they actually showed somebody bringing out the food, and I started laughing because I was like, normally people eat, like, salad and like maybe like a sensible like little steak kind of a thing. AJ Styles has this big plate of spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
He's like ordering.
You think that food is any good?
That didn't look good to me.
The spaghetti and meatballs didn't?
Yeah, that didn't look good. He was wolfing it down though. He was going at it like he ordered it from the kids' meal and he was starving or something. Like,
he could have.
Maybe, but that didn't look tasty to me. It's like the spaghetti looked like it might have been like I don't know, like a disproportionate ratio of sauce to spaghetti. Like too much sauce.
Yeah,
See how many meatballs were on it though. That's the real question.
I think I saw 2.
See,
I'm not
it's
a
not
fan
enough.
of marinara. Like
I go two meatballs and all just enough spaghetti sauce that you can coat it. I don't want to have spaghetti soup.
Yeah.
If I wanted I'd eat SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, that's actually
SpaghettiOs fucking suck.
SpaghettiOs are disgusting.
Random side note though, I do want to try something that I had seen before on Reddit. Somebody made SpaghettiOs pizza. They just took a like a pizza dough kind of normal sort of scenario, and they just poured 2 cans of SpaghettiOs on top and then a bunch of mozzarella cheese, and it didn't look all that bad. It's got to be gross, but it didn't look that bad.
I wouldn't eat more than 1 bite.
Well, you gotta assume it. If it does suck, you wouldn't eat more than 1 bite. But
I'm going off the entire belief that it would suck.
I also want really badly at like you know how like people have like fire pits in the backyard and stuff.
Yeah,
I've always been really tempted to just get a can of SpaghettiOs and throw it in there and see like if it can cook.
I thought you were going to say, just to see if it'll explode and get freaking SpaghettiOs everywhere.
Oh, that's even better. Not even poke a hole in it. Like, to not even let, like, any kind of steam or anything out. Just see if it blows up. And just...
Stone Cold at WWE Camp does that.
Yeah, with a terrible voice. Especially because it has nothing to do with WWE. It's just SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So, I would say... see the table for 3, skip the Camp WWE.
What's your favorite Shane McMahon match?
I don't think I have one. I never really was like the absolute biggest fan of any of his matches. That King of the Ring one maybe, because that was fun, but that's not really like...
Yeah, I think I gotta go with King of the Ring with Kurt.
Honestly, if it wasn't for that, the AJ Styles match he had with him at WrestleMania was really good.
I don't think it's too memorable though. Like I don't remember too much about it, and it was pretty recent.
It was a good opener, in my opinion. Shane hasn't had that many good matches. Like Shane's only good for spots. Like
yeah,
if your whole gimmick is that you have to either get a trash can and jump all the way across the ring to hit someone in the corner, or you have to jump off something to make a match memorable, you're not a good wrestler. And
it's fucking Vince's son, and this dude tries to kill himself every time. We know he doesn't have to. Yeah. So I think like that always sticks out to me.
Credit where it's due. Like that stuff's fun. He certainly doesn't have to do any of that, but it still just kind of ends up becoming like, yeah, those are fun, but I don't like the matches really all that much. So Show Stealer to me was kind of an odd title. Like I don't know what they would have called it, but a lot of the times when they call these like whatever the gimmick is, and it's like that's not really, doesn't make any sense. If you have 3 members of the Nation of Domination on there and you call it Table for 3 Nation of Domination, yeah, sure. If you've got like the random pairing of like the Hardy Boys and Finn Balor, and it's like, what are you gonna call that one? You know,
Painted Warriors is Broken.
I would love to see Broken Matt Hardy on there,
like actually full on in gimmick.
Yeah. That'd just be so fucking funny.
Even though I didn't have this planned out, just cap this off for the hot tags with this question. If you could pick 3 people to be on a table for 3, who would you pick?
My thing is they've done a lot of people now. So it's not like that if you go through the table for 3 library, you could pretty much see a good portion of the roster. Have they had John Cena on there yet?
No,
I don't think so.
I would at least be interested in him. Maybe Chris Jericho with him. No, never mind. We saw that interview with him. That sucked.
I got 2 groups that I can think of, and neither of them will never, ever happen.
I wonder if we have the same groups.
One of them is Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon, and Eric Bischoff.
Close.
And the other one is Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and Sonny.
Okay, well, the second one I definitely want to see, but it will never happen.
No, neither of these are happening.
I was thinking, like, let's assume for a second that we could have, full reign, and it's not like completely edited from a 2-hour discussion to 20 minutes.
That's another thing. They need to make these longer.
But Vince, Shane, and Stephanie, and then Vince, Heyman, and Bischoff.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun one too.
I would say if the only person I would replace McMahon with in that situation with Eric and Heyman would maybe be like JR.
What's another like good one? Like think of like a Taker. They did the thing with Taker, Shawn, and Triple H. If those three could sit down and you could see Taker be a human for a second, that'd be nice.
Well, I'd like to see Taker, Kane, and since you can't do Paul Bearer, Taker, Kane, and Foley.
If you want to take like the faces of WWE over time, maybe like do Hulk Hogan. If you want to choose between like Shawn Michaels, The Rock, or Stone Cold for like that '90s Attitude Era period,
I think if
and
you're
then you could do John
you're choosing
Cena,
The Rock. Or
yeah,
honestly, Shawn is probably an easier get. So it would be Hogan, Shawn Michaels, and John Cena.
Yeah.
Although the one that would make the most sense would be Hogan, Austin, Cena, or Hogan, Rock, Cena.
It's not that hard to get Stone Cold nowadays.
No, I think he's just not working with them right now, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't know the
didn't with
situation
him in a
like that.
while.
I know that when he did the WrestleMania 32 thing, he was basically like, "Yeah, that's it for me. That's pretty much the last you're gonna see of me working with them." And
All
I
right,
think
so who would be even more awkward? You got Hulk Hogan, Mark Henry. Who else hates Hulk Hogan right now?
There's a lot of people who hate Hulk Hogan. I don't want to see Hulk Hogan back in WWE.
More and more rumors that he is coming back really soon.
Yeah, I really don't want to see him, and it's not even because of what he said. I truly don't care about that anymore. It was dumb of him to say. It is what it is at this point. I just don't want to fucking watch Hulk Hogan strut to the ring. We all have to act like that he's, oh my god, it's Hulk Hogan. We gotta pretend like we care about him when we don't really give a shit. The next time anyone will truly give a shit about Hulk Hogan is when he's dead. But that might just be everyone but Mark Henry, of course. But and I don't want to watch him flub his fucking promo, his shit promo the same fucking one he cuts every single time.
Why
Hulk
not,
Hogan. I'm done with it. That might
the
be
cynical backlash stuff was last night, buddy. We're having a good time here.
You want to hear the best table for three?
What's it?
Yeah, yes.
Paige, Brad Maddox, and Xavier Woods.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And it's
There's
just
so
like,
many videos
hey, how come
about
we don't
that.
have like the actual cameraman here? And they're like, oh, we just thought that Brad would do it.
No, even better. No, they should do a table for three, have Brad and Xavier, but they should leave a third person a mystery because it's going to be the cameraman that's going to be revealed when you watch the special.
Paige here.
Yes, Paige. She used magic.
Alrighty, everybody. Those are the hot tags of the week. So make sure you drop your comments below and tell us what you thought about these different topics that we've got going on. And make sure that you also stay tuned for what's coming up next for Smack Talk, because later on this week, we're going to have more than likely the debut of a brand new segment called Mount Rushmore.
Yay.
That seems like that is the thing that people have been voting for the most. And since WWE is doing Money in the Bank related things, and we have like 7 weeks until Money in the Bank, I don't want to just blow the whole Money in the Bank thing out there. So, we're going to have some fun with something different, most likely. And also, I'll be recording something that'll be coming up next week, so you'll pay attention to that. But that'll probably be an edition of Play the Game sometime this weekend. You're not going to see it this weekend. You're going to see it like next Wednesday or so. So another edition of the hot tags before that. But those things are coming up. And the best way to be aware of when they get posted is going to be subscribing on the YouTube channel and ringing the bell for notifications. You could also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at SmarkOutMoment, and check out smarkoutmoment.com for all the other content that's there as well, like the weeklies. And I'm going to be writing up something a little bit later on today about supplements, essentially. It's just a paid gig.
What?
Yeah, it's just one of those kind of things.
What kind of supplements are they?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm taking a paid gig for a like a type of like vitamin shop type of thing, and I'm turning it into an article about how Peyton Royce and Billy Kay and Alexa Bliss have gotten boob jobs.
Well, I mean, that's fantastic. I was kind of hoping you were going to get some kind of sponsored insomnia pills.
Well, then I don't need to get paid for that. I just need the pills.
They got boob jobs.
Yeah.
Well, Alexa Bliss definitely got a boob job.
I haven't been. Alexa is so small, and her boobs aren't like so proportionately huge that it's like noticeable. So I could see Peyton Royce, I guess, with the boob job.
I could see them all in my dreams.
Yes.
Well, yeah, except
so-
you don't have them.
Because you don't sleep. Oh.
That's a good point. So yeah, stay tuned for all that other kind of stuff that's coming your way. Also, follow these guys on their social media and everything else like that. Drew, what do you want to toss out?
Go to McFrickin' on YouTube, because one of these days there's going to be like 20 videos posted without me saying anything about it.
Not even on the videos?
Huh?
You're going to say something on the videos, right, Drew?
Maybe.
Oh, God.
Silent Hour Show returning. Rob?
I'm at Dude Felice on Twitter and Instagram. And, stay tuned to smarkoutmoment.com for the weeklies. We're doing, what are we doing this week? Triple Threat Backlash review, yay. And whatever else everybody else has going on. It's all great. Smarkout Moment, yay.
It is great. Thumbs up. I like my site. And you should too. You should also thumbs up this video, because when you get certain people that read these hot tags and they get all pissed off that it's not what it is, then you see that like massive dislike ratio, like the last one where people thought that it was the actual ride along
nice
episode.
Thumbnail,
It's like,
by the way. I looked at it. I was like, man, there's a lot more views on this and a lot more dislikes than usual.
yeah. Well, people saw that and then they went, "Oh, this says review."
You think people would watch us live watching this shit? Like,
Some
Yeah,
people like the reactions videos on YouTube.
If I could do that without getting the copyright stuff, and I would try to do stuff like that, and if somebody else would edit it. But hell, I have a video of me doing fucking Robin Hood Men in Tights at a talent show in my fucking senior year of high school, and earlier today I got a copyright infringement thing for that. It's like, really, you want to take down a copyright infringement thing for a 2004 video of a bunch of kids doing a stupid talent show act? Fine.
it's
You
an
know?
algorithm. It's the algorithm, Tony.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, that as well, the TeePublic shops, if you want to buy any of those shirts that have been posted recently, the Fanboys Anonymous sale that was going on and all the other kind of things, buy them as soon as you can, because WWE is starting to go after them already, and other places are going after them too. So WWE took down that other Eat Sleep, threatened to leave and return to the UFC, and then re-sign with WWE. They took that down. They hate the fucking Brock Lesnar parody things. They jump on those so quick. And like the I'm So Wasted Grand Theft Auto one, that got taken down again. And, so if you ever see a t-shirt that you want to buy, grab it as soon as you can. I know Peter put up a Nicholas Club one. Also, shout out to Peter for the Sign Me Up. Thank you for that. And I think that's it that we need to talk about. So anything else that happens, maybe we'll touch upon it real quick before the Mount Rushmore or something like that. But we will see you when we see you, everybody. Thanks for listening to this edition. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.